Okay, I have moved over to my sewing machine now. I have my practice block here that I already made my markings on. I have the Dabline grip that we will be using to move the template around underneath the needle. I have the template here. We're going to be using the heart border template today. When you first open up your templates out of the box, you will notice that they're kind of foggy looking. That means that they have a film on them that is on there to protect them during shipping so they don't get any scratches or anything like that. So what Dabline has done is they've sent a little card here with this little doodad on it, which helps you peel off that film. So if you don't have long nails or something, you can use this to peel that film off. So it's just a little plastic, it's about the size of a dime. And what you do is you take the white part here and you're just going to want to come over. Only use this on the corners and edges of the plastic. Don't try to scrape in the middle of the template, okay? So I'm going to come up here to this corner and I'm just kind of rub it gently. Don't do it too forcefully because the film should come up. If you can see that the film has started coming up a little bit there. There, you can see that if I put my hand behind it. So then I'm just going to grab the film with my hands there and pull it off and see the difference. If I hold my hand behind, you can see how much more clear it is where we've pulled the film off rather than down here. It's kind of a little foggy looking. And this film is just to protect it during shipping. So if the box bounces around, the templates aren't going to be scratching each other up because this is an acrylic plastic and it can get scratches on it. So you want to be careful with them. And then you can just disregard and throw away the film after you've taken that off. So there we have our template and it fits very easily into our grip here. So I'm going to set that aside for right now because we're going to prepare our sewing machine for free motion quilting. Okay. So I'm also going to put this to the side. And first, what we want to do is we want to come to our sewing machine foot right here. Right now, I just have a regular 1/4 inch seam allowance foot on my machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take my screwdriver here and remove this foot. Oops, I bumped the camera. Sorry about that. I'm just going to loosen up that screw, take that foot and put it aside. Okay, now we're going to talk about which foot to use with these templates. Now, for regular free motion quilting that you are literally doing free motion with, you're not using any kind of template, you're going to be using a foot like this that attaches to the shank of the machine and the needle goes through this little hole here. And if you look closely, the lip of this is very short. It's not tall at all. Now, if you were to try to use this with the templates, what would happen is when you're moving this, the foot, see if you can see that, the foot would just go right under the template and it would just be messy. It would not work well. I've tried doing that before I got my my free motion quilting foot that's meant to be used for rulers. I tried doing this with templates before and it's near impossible to get it to work correctly. So you're definitely going to want to invest in a free motion quilting foot for rulers. If you look that up online, you should be able to find one that's going to be compatible with your sewing machine. So I will show you what that looks like. So it looks very similar, but if you look at the foot part, the lip of the foot is much taller. So it's about as tall as the thickness of the template. So then when I'm going to be moving this around, it's pushing right up against that side of the template. So it's not going to accidentally slip under and mess up your stitches. So that's the kind of foot that you're going to want to use with these templates, okay? I'll show you the comparison here. See, it's just much different. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to my machine. Every machine's a little different. Okay, just going to tighten that up. Whoops. Tighten that with my screwdriver. And now that is ready to go. The next thing that we're going to want to do when setting your sewing machine up is you're going to want to come over. Let's see if I can move the camera over here smoothly. All right. Every sewing machine looks different, okay? But your sewing machine probably has a feature where you can lower the feed dogs. So that's here for mine. So I'm going to lower my feed dogs, and that is going to make the feed dogs over here go down. So then when I'm moving my template and my quilt underneath the needle, my feed dogs aren't going to be working against me. So we want to do that for sure. And then we also want to switch our stitch length to 0. Okay, and that's what you're going to do for any kind of free motion quilting. You need your stitch length to 0 because you're in charge of the speed and the length of your stitches when you're moving, okay? So once we have those things taken care of, try to get the camera back over here for you guys. Oh, another thing I want to mention is sometimes if your sewing machine does not have the capability to lower the feed dogs, you probably have the capability of putting a cover over it. So a lot of sewing machines will actually come with a cover that's meant for your machine. If you don't have one, like if you bought your sewing machine secondhand or something, I would encourage you to look online for parts for that sewing machine and see if you can find a cover, because that really does help with moving your quilt underneath the needle and not having to fight your machine basically, and try to make it work and everything look smooth. So now that we have the sewing machine all prepared and ready, now we are going to practice. Okay, I definitely recommend practicing using these templates before you actually start quilting on your quilt project. This is going to help you get used to the movement that you're going to need to use while moving your template under the needle. And it's just going to get your brain and your hands used to the whole thing, because I mean, for some people it probably does come naturally, but for most of us it's a learned skill. So what's great about the Dabline kit is each one comes with a little template usage card, which they're going to show you how to do the movements. So first we're going to start with our template in this position, which I have it in the grip in that position. And then we're going to start where it says to start. And then we're going to go around the template and making an S shape backwards, basically. Then when you get to the stop spot, you stop. Then you're going to flip the template like the diagram shows over, and then leaving your needle in that spot where you stopped here, you're going to leave the needle there. And then once you've flipped the template, you're going to make a mirror image of that S shape and then stop. So if that didn't make sense, don't worry. I'm going to show you how to do it actually with moving with the template, okay? So this is very helpful, and I would definitely keep this handy if you're just learning how to use these templates. So let's bring this over, and we're going to put machine in the right right spot. If you remember where I put the markings, I made my little marks with my hero marker. There's one line here, and if you look this line of the template, I'm about a 1/4 inch under the bottom line, and then this line of the template is about a 1/4 inch above that line that we marked. So this is our starting point, and I'm just going to practice. I don't even have my sewing machine on right now. So there's no pressure, no needle moving. If you want to practice with the sewing machine on and the needle going, just kind of to get used to the feel and the sound of it moving, go ahead and just take out your top thread and your bobbin thread, and then you can practice moving it with your machine on and without having to sew anything. Okay, so here we're gonna gently place your hands on here. And oh, I just remembered another thing. Dabline also provides these great gloves. Now you're gonna wonder, why would I need gloves to be doing this? These gloves actually have a coating on the tips of the fingers that's gonna help you hold on to the fabric. It's kind of like a non-slip grip that holds on to the fabric, so it's a lot easier to move things around. You can use these in conjunction with these templates, or if you want to try your hand at free motion quilting, these gloves will help you hold on to that fabric without, you know, trying to dig your claws into the fabric, basically. So you can use these if you want. I'll go ahead and put mine on so you can see how they work. And this will help you kind of grip onto that template gripper also with that non-grip coating that's on there. Okay, so let's practice a heart, okay? We're going to start in our starting position, and then we're just going to take it nice and slow just to get used to those movements. And you're going to go around nice and slow. You definitely want to make sure that you're keeping your movements smooth and even when you're doing this, especially when you're actually stitching, because the speed at which you're moving is going to affect your stitch length, and you want even stitch length when you're free motion quilting. Okay, now we've reached the stop point. Now what do we do? Well, now is the time that we flip this over. So I'm going to remove this, and you just flip it. Just like that. I'm going to move my grip over. We're imagining that the needle's down, okay, in the down position, so it's holding our stitch right where we left off. And then we're going to stick that template, whoops, back in to the grip, like that, okay? And then we're ready to start again. So like before, we're just going to take it nice and slow around that template, following the curve. And then you stop. And that's how you practice doing the heart border. If you need to do this several times, I encourage you to do that. It's okay. Take your time. And that's really going to help you get the feel for it, you know. And then once you're ready, I would go ahead and put my thread through, put my bobbin in, turn my machine on, and then do a practice heart that way, okay? And just take your time, and you'll get it figured out.